All right, hey everybody, welcome to Trivera Tip Tuesday. In case you missed it, our last one was on the changes in B2B sales behavior due to COVID-19. So if you are in the B2B space and you want to learn more about how B2B buyers are using online research in lieu of in-person meetings to research their purchases, be sure to check that out. I am Christina Stetter. I'm the EVP here at Trivera, and this week we are talking about something that is critically important all the time, but even more so now that so many people are spending so much time online, and that is ADA compliance. So we're going to cover 3 tips today. These are basic get start kind of tips. You should know that when we do this for clients, we run a really extensive report that shows thousands of issues. These are things that occur as people update their sites. Since this is general, we're just going to focus on 3 really basic tips and go from there. So I'm with Steph, one of our front-end developers. So Steph, can you introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure, I'm Steph. I do web design here at Trivera as well as front-end development. And I've been here for just over 3 years.
Great, thanks. So as I mentioned, this is something that usually takes a lot of time. There are a lot of issues. When we talk about this, we typically do it as a full-on lunch and learn. So we talk for about an hour and 45 minutes. We're not going to take that long today, but it is important, if you're interested, pay attention to this, because ADA compliance isn't just good for our friends who are challenged by being able to use a mouse or a computer screen. ADA compliance can provide a better user experience for everyone. Don't you think, Steph?
Absolutely. It's all about the user experience and using like empathy and thinking about the inclusiveness of everybody. So there's a lot of different things that people might have challenges with when they come use a computer in general, or if they're coming to use a website. So for example, one of the first things, and I was just going to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm talking about.
Cool.
So just click over that real quick. All right, I'm just going to use our regular website for Trivera as an example. So this website, you can read the text and everything. You can see the colors. And for example, right here, if you take a look, there's a green jelly bean and there's like more like a pinkish red one. So someone with color blindness, they're not going to see that exactly the same. I have a little example right here. So now you look, the pink and the green jelly bean, they're about the same color. So it's hard to differentiate, right? Exactly.
Right. Right.
And so if you had like a call to action or something and you had the exact same text, like click here or something that you shouldn't do anyways, and you have it the same color, you can't really differentiate. So that's a really big thing that you need to think about when you're doing looking at ADA compliance and looking at color blindness as well. So on top of that, diminished eyesight. I mean, for example, you lose your eyesight a little bit. It's not as clear as it used to be. Here's another example. So this is a clear sight. And this would be one where it's a little bit blurred. You might be able to see the bigger text and letters and everything, but the smaller ones, it's harder to see. And so think about it. I mean, if you have your eyesight's going a little bit, or say you forget your glasses, you leave them at home or something, and you come in and you say, well, what am I going to do today? So it's thinking about that, thinking about it could be you in that situation. It's just not just someone that maybe has, their eyesight's going or anything like that. So thinking about that when thinking about ADA compliance and people in general. And then there's these situations that are just more of like just an unideal situation. So say there's poor lighting. You want to go outside to work because you're sick of working inside because we've been inside so much, right? And so it's going and taking your computer outside, and then there's sunlight that's hitting your screen. You have to do something about that. Or if you're in a loud coffee shop or something, and you just want to like watch a webinar or something, but it's too loud and you don't have your earbuds, what do? Like maybe closed captioning. It's thinking about these little things of these everyday tasks that we run into or other people do too. So you have a broken arm, you have one arm now, what are you going to do? Right. So it's thinking about that all over the place and just thinking about how to think about others in the situation, what you can do for everyone.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, we know that there are 61 million adults in the United States who identify as having some sort of a disability, but with COVID, everything has moved online. And it's not that we didn't know that this stuff was going to happen. It's just it happened really fast. Online grocery shopping doubled from February to March. Most companies are just not prepared for that. And even things like salespeople, they're feeling the pinch of not being able to meet people in person. So things that used to happen over coffee moved online. I've read that Zoom went from 10 million daily meeting participants in December to 300 million in April. So people are pushing themselves down the sales funnel more than ever. And we've always said people push themselves about 70% of the way down the sales funnel, both in B2B and B2C, doing online independent research. But with everything that's going on now, people are working from home, they're spending more time in their computers. Health experts are predicting we might have to have future quarantines. So now is the time to be thinking about this kind of stuff and to make your website accessible to everybody. Because even though some things will return to normal, other things are going to be here to stay just because we've come to enjoy the convenience of an online life. So let's get started with our first tip. What have you got for us today, Steph?
Well, I have something that we've been doing for a long time. It's alt text. So some of you may realize or know what that is, some of you may not, and that's totally okay. It's alternative text. And so what that is, and I'll show you an example yet again. All right. So alternative text is basically alternative text for an image. So if a blind person comes to the website and they're trying to look at the image or have a screen reader read through and tell them what the image is, this is basically what they're going to see. They're not going to be able to read the text because the screen reader might come through and say, oh, there's an image here, but there's no text behind it. You don't know what it is. They don't know. All they can do is just read the text below it or beside it, and the screen reader will read that to them. So what alternative text is putting that in and saying, it's a little bit of code, but it says marketing professionals discussing strategy at the Trivera office is what this image potentially is of. So now that you can get a clear picture, the screen reader can actually read that and tell the user what the actual image is. And this one, engaged programmer coding a website on his laptop. And so now you have a visual, you can see it, and they can see it, they can read it, they can understand what those images are and how they actually relate to the text next to it. And so now, so you can literally see it, you can say, yes, of course, those are marketing professionals, and this is an engaged programmer. So all around, it helps everyone, and it also definitely helps Google too, because Google, basically, it's reading the screen. If they can't read what the image is, they're not going to be able to actually decipher and index anything of what that is.
Right. And that's super important because alt text is also good for SEO. You know, Google is really good at understanding searcher intent and matching your website to the problem that the person is trying to solve. And like you said, Google can't see those images. So alt text helps it understand how the pictures relate to the content on the page and tells them what additional information the picture is providing. Which leads to tip number 2, which is title and metadata. So this is going to sound like old school SEO for anybody who's been in marketing for a while, because title and metadata used to be super important for search engine optimization. And they still are, but not really in the same way. So title tags tell the search engine what the name of the page is, and you don't have to default to what your content management system decides that it should be. And if you're using a screen reader, the screen reader will use that to tell the person what tab they're open. So if you're like me and you always have 32 tabs open, I read those, but if you use a screen reader, it has to tell them what the name of that page is. So a descriptive name that's accurate is a lot more helpful. And then metadata is also helpful in the same way. So it doesn't directly influence search engine optimization like it used to, but it provides additional text on the search engine result landing page, which gives the user information about what the content is on the page. And it does influence click-through rate, which is a ranking factor. And having good descriptive text can help someone who's using a screen reader know if they should click through or not. So those two things are really a big deal, and you can do both of those manually. You do not have to rely on your content management system to do those, and you should, at least for your top page, just write those manually. So you've added alt text to your images, and you've worked on your title and metadata. What's the third thing you can do, Steph?
Glad you asked. This goes along with what you're saying a little bit. It goes along with the structure of the page in general. So of course you're going to want to use and take content and put it into your CMS, your content management system. And so one of the first things you can do, and I'm sure hopefully you're already doing, is using H1 tags. So it's the header tag. So it's basically the title. It's the title of the book, if you will, right? The title of that web page that you're on. And so you want to make sure you have that in there. That gives it better structure. So when a screen reader comes through, it can read and say, yep, this is the title, and it's a lot easier for the screen reader to go through and for people to tab through the different sections and understand it. Going along with that, you have content, and you're maybe typing it up in Word, and you want to take it and you want to put it into your website. Well, there's something called semantic markup, and so say you have some like bold text, and you really have that, it's really like highlighted out for a quote, and you really want that to stand out, or say italics for maybe a similar reason. If you just copy and paste it from Word and put it into the website, screen readers sometimes they're not able to read that. So the bold and italic that comes from Word, it gets jumbled and it'll just pass over them, and you won't even know that it's supposed to be highlighted. So what you can do is actually clear the formatting when you're ready to copy and paste it from Word to the website, and that'll take it out. So that way the CMS can actually handle it and put the right M or the right strong tags in that it's semantically correct, so that the screen readers can go through and read it. You may not notice it just looking at the site, but a screen reader definitely will.
Yeah, and that's one of the most common things we see too, don't you think? You know,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Most people copy and paste from Word. Everybody does it.
Yep.
So, yeah, so these are all great things and things you can do yourself. So Steph and I have one bonus tip for you today on top of the 3 we've already given you. And warning, you're going to hate it. And that is, don't use pop-ups. So Steph, can you explain why you should not use the pop-up?
Sure. So a pop-up, so this is pretty common. A lot of people, I mean, they're great to use for some applications. You want to show a promo, you want to use a newsletter, like people love them for this easy integration, right? But the thing is if you go to a web page and you go to the home page, a lot of times people like to put their pop-ups on a home page, they have them pop up after like 2 seconds. Well, even for regular users, that's not the greatest application, because the user's not even going to know what the web page is talking about. They're just going to have this pop-up flash up in their face. They won't really see anything more. And so for a user that is using a screen reader, they'll go to the page and they'll basically just see a pop-up, and there might not be a close symbol, like, you know, they have the X in the corner. That might not be readable for even just a regular user. Sometimes it's hard to close those in general. Well, for a screen reader, if it's going through and trying to tell them where to close it and it's not properly set up, they won't be able to find it. So basically they're stuck on the page with a pop-up, and they won't really know where to go or what to do. So a lot of times they might just X out and just completely leave your website in general. They can't go back, they can't do anything. Right. So if they're set up correctly, they can be used, but a lot of times they're not. So it's definitely looking into that and making sure screen readers can use it. An alternative, however, though, would be to take a potentially like a call to action or whatever marketing promotion that you want and putting it maybe below the hero, or actually taking it and putting it somewhere on the website where someone's actually going to engage with that marketing promotion or newsletter, instead of just right away throwing it at someone in the homepage or somewhere else just because you want to get it out there. Using it strategically and putting it in a place that people can actually use it and see it and actually engage with it. And then another kind of bonus double tip, I suppose, would be something similar where you have a pop-up. Well, a lot of times people might want to put like a video and have autoplay on there. It's the same reason. Basically, it's like if you're watching a movie and you're hearing people talk, the same experience. It's having this video pop up and it's playing and you can't hear, you can't understand anything. And it's just really, really not great for the screen reader because you're competing with that while video is playing. And so don't use autoplay either. So that's a little bonus tip for you as well.
That is a good one, because those are so annoying. I hate that. And you can't figure out which tab is talking. And yeah, it's awful, awful. Mm-hmm. So we hope that you'll use the summer months to prepare your business to do business more effectively by implementing these tips. Remember, these just get you started with ADA compliance. They provide a better user experience for all, and they'll help your business perform better online, but it's just scratching the surface. There is a lot more to ADA compliance than these 3 tips. So please do not think if you do these things that you're going to be in compliance. I don't want to get in trouble for that. But this will get you started. So if you want to know more, please reach out to us. Or when we can be together, we will be doing lunch and learns again, and sign up. If you sign up for our newsletter on our website, we'll send you an invitation the next time we do webinars. And we do have a session on ADA compliance that we'll be doing. So check back for more tips. We post them on Tuesdays. And thank you so much, Steph, for sharing all of this explanation and knowledge with everyone. So have a great day. Bye.